Hey, you guys, it's the Pulse. It's 7 o'clock. You know what time it is? It's Tuesday. So we're getting into it again. Once again, we're going to be talking about a hot topic. Today, we're going to have some guest hosts with us today because two of our guys that they had some things that they had to handle. But you know what it means. Right now, you got to share, like, and comment. Get your friends and family up in here. Let us know how you're feeling because tonight we are talking about Black lives. Do they matter? Black men killing black men. We're talking about black violence, and we want to talk about that today because if we want them to care about our lives, shouldn't we care about our lives? I want you to tell me what you think about it. I want to know what you are feeling, and at the same time, hashtag Dre, hashtag Rashawn. We want them to know that they love us. They're watching us from where they are. And while we're doing that, I want to introduce my host tonight. Of course, we have Armani and we have Pastor Dante with us tonight.
Yes, I am on tonight. They let me on. They let me on tonight. I can't believe it.
Yes. So we're super ecstatic to have Pastor Dante. As you know, he is the mind behind everything, and he is the one that has me and Armani and Rashawn and Dre up here talking to you guys every Tuesday. So we're super ecstatic to have him with us today. But the question is, who is going to talk with us today? Because we want to talk to you. Last week, you guys were on fire. We love seeing your comments. We love commenting on your comments. But like we said, you guys got to like, comment, and share. If you're in the spot, say, I'm here. Comment, I'm here. Let us know where you are. Let us know what you're doing because we're going to get it popping tonight as usual. So, of course, if you have been paying attention to anything, every time we turn on the news, we are seeing black men kill black men. We just experienced George Floyd's anniversary. We just experienced Breonna Taylor's birthday. I know there's so many people posting about Breonna Taylor. It's sad that even today we have yet to see justice for her. And we are fighting for black lives, and we want black lives to matter to everyone. And that's what I know Armani puts all of her energy into. I know that Pastor Dante and other pastors in our area have been trying so desperately to get the things that we need. But why are we killing each other? So, you know, if we want to emphasize how important our lives are, we need to also feel the same way ourselves. If we can't stop the violence from police brutality, then why are we continually killing each other? What are you thinking? We see Joseph down there. God bless. It's nice to see you too, Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Liz, thanks for joining us. But while we're noticing everybody come in, Armani, I want you to speak on that for me because I know you got something to say, boo.
Yes.
So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
hear you.
Yeah. Okay, it's a little lagging right now. But just kind of try to start off. I know when people say black on black crime, I like that term because it is utilized by white supremacists and those of the right wing, I guess, ideology, and they use that to kind of make it seem like black people are like the most violent out of the other races. And I feel like every race has violent tendencies. Not one race is more violent than the other. Like, we all are human. Everybody deals with some type of, every race has some type of violence crime rate. So I hate the fact that people try to use that towards trying to demonize Black Lives Matter, because that's two different things. Black Lives Matter was originated to protect Black lives from white supremacy, as well as show that police brutality is an issue and that there's things that's being done to us intentionally, not because of ourselves, but because of the way everything is structured, such as systematic racism. And people don't look at it that way. They just say, oh, that black on black crime apply with Black Lives Matter. And no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I know it's two different things, but of course it's a problem. But I think that we just have to look at the things that are underneath instead of kind of like just looking at it in a broader way.
Yeah, I noticed that Jay offer. It's funny to say that. And we know I noticed his comment, and I do agree with him, and I agree with Armani as well. If we're gonna say that there's black on black crime, but people kill in the area in which they live. So just if you look at the statistics, just as many white people kill white people as many black people kill black people. It's really not a difference. The thing I see and the thing I feel about it is the violence period has become too normalized, and we're desensitized. We're desensitized by violence. We don't even see it as a problem, and that's why black white race don't matter. But Pastor Dante, I know you would love to speak on this. So where do you feel?
Well, before we get started, I want to thank you guys for allowing me again to come on the show. I want to make sure that everybody that's watching to like and share. And of course, Pastor Jay has his great comments. We want to make sure we dive into those comments. I wonder why he's always commenting when Samia is always. I wonder if there's a small connection there, but we'll figure that out later. Listen, I am. Both of you are correct. It shouldn't be used in the same vein. But however, we're dealing with a media that loves to promote black violence. They love to promote black violence. They want to show the world what African Americans are they believe are like. So they're going to show that. But what we have to do is we do have to somehow change the narrative. And the only way we can change the narrative is that we have to really be a part of this community, a part of this change. And when you're a part of this change, you're going to do things differently to be able to help change the narrative. And unfortunately, what we're seeing specifically in our great city, I love Baltimore. I love Baltimore City. But unfortunately, what has happened with the crime rate in the city, most of it is focused on black violence. And so persons will use that to say, okay, does Black lives really matter? I also agree with Amani. There have been a lot of systematic racism that's still taking place that promotes the violence. It's a lot of, we know back when I was growing up in the 80s, when the drugs came into the city, we know we didn't bring the drugs into the city. There's no way we had the mechanisms to bring the drugs into the city.
Right.
But they somehow got here and we haven't been the same since. And those type of things has created this violent culture. The funding of the school system, when you're still dealing with a school system that doesn't even have air conditions in the building where kids want to learn, it kind of perpetuates the violence because they don't have any other thing. I'm gonna say they don't have anything to do, but it really kind of forces them into that lifestyle, which leads to more violence. So those are the things that we have to deal with, because those are the things that really, really will help change the narrative as it relates to Black Lives Matter.
That's good.
And I definitely agree that it is our responsibility to change the narrative. It's our responsibility to bring light to the positive, because of course they don't bother to do that.
That's right.
It's very easy to post the picture of the kid who killed his little sister, but we don't ever post the picture of the boy who, despite all odds, graduated from med school.
Right.
And that's what they do. They kind of try to post this up, and I love when I see posts of a whole group of Black men that graduated from med school altogether, or graduated from a law school altogether. And I love posting those because I want people to see that. I want people to know that there are two sides to this story, and we're going to tell them the right one.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And listen, I see some comments coming on here. Thank you. Yes, Pastor, from Liz McDonald. I'm telling you, because listen, y'all, that's the reason why I'm telling you, why we created New Kingdom TV, because we're creating our own narrative. We're shaping our narrative for our community, and even for other communities. But we're making sure that our narrative is shaped through what we're able to do through medium, through social media. So more often than not, we have to show that, and we have to portray that in the light of, as we talked about with the school systems. I mean, with these young men graduating from college in large numbers. Those are the things that's going to help us to declare that Black lives do matter, because as we mentioned, Breonna Taylor, I don't know why I cannot get off of that. And I shared it with you guys this weekend. And I know the reason why I can't let it go. It's no way in the world, no one should have to die in their sleep at the hands of someone that was supposed to protect them. And them individuals still not brought to justice. It's no way that that should even be still. So for me, honestly, I believe as a minister, as a pastor, and as a community leader, at some point, we're going to have to change our tactics to let folk know that our lives really do matter.
Yes. Agreed.
Right. And in that sense, I feel like we definitely, as people of God and people who are in ministry and have the power to create activity, and we need to just promote that and continue to promote that. And it's, Armani is big on education. The same thing. I think that's what we definitely need to do. And so you guys are hearing us, and I know that some of you guys are commenting, but I definitely want to hear some more from you guys, and let us know how you feel about it as well. What is your take on this? How do you feel about Black violence? How do you feel about violence in general? And how do you feel like we can prove and show? Because I really feel like we don't need to explain that Black lives matter, but we do need to find a way to make it so that other people get on that boat. And I know it's sad. It's sad that we have to do that. It really is.
Yeah.
But I live in Pasadena, and yeah, I'm gonna just say that it's not something that is a topic around here.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a topic. So we got to create that. We have to create the momentum for it to become a topic, specifically with the schools that are in that area. All these things come together, with how we promote and how we literally allow a person to see into our world what's going on and how we're affected by all these policies that are being changed, how the policing is done. All of those things come with us sharing this story any way we possibly can. I think, Amani, you want to share something?
No, I was going to just say it starts early as well, like instilling pride, instilling self-love to our young children, because it's important that they understand that they do matter, that their minds matter, that mind is a terrible thing to waste. They're educated, because like if you look at, like, I hate to keep going back to this whole Baltimore thing, but it is something that we have to talk about, because if your government is like, I don't care about your education, they don't have no air conditioning, they don't have no books, they're losing teachers. Okay, so my education doesn't matter to you. My neighborhood doesn't matter to you. I don't get to have extracurricular activities because you got rid of the rec center down the street and I can't go there no more. So these kids, they're like, well, dang, I don't feel loved. I don't feel, because some of them grow in environments where their parents may not be there. They may have a single mother or a single dad and only have one person that may show. They may not intentionally not show love to them, but they have to work in order to survive. And they don't get the love and attention that a child who has two parents has. So they have to raise themselves. They have to either raise their, parentization or something like that, where they have to raise their siblings. So I feel like also, it's like I said, it goes back to the resource thing, because if your environment is what's the word? It's just not livable and it's confined on you, you're gonna react to that. And I think it's just important that we instill, the values of that they do matter. Like, we have to go out into the community and show that to those people.
And that comment that Pastor Offer just made is awesome. Violence requires the community to come and clean about what is really happening on the streets: drugs, domestic violence, gangs, poverty, and family weaknesses. That means now, honestly, we have to own a lot of what's going on. We have to own it. No one else is going to own it for us. Some point we have to own it, and when we do own it, I believe that's when things will start to make a very serious change, when we understand that, guess what, no one else can. We can't depend on the government. We've been trying to depend on the government for years, for my whole lifetime, and they have failed us every single time. So at some point we have to make that decision. We have to own this.
It's a community effort. I definitely agree with what
Definitely.
he's saying. As a community, we have to set a standard. It's
Mhm,
very easy. If you are reaching out to your neighbor and you know your neighbor, it could start as easily as that.
mhm.
Knowing the people on the street that you live on, and then
That's right.
extending it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're about to go on to break.
Mhm.
So since we're going on to break, I want you guys to think about that and how in our community can we set the standard? How
Mhm.
can we, take responsibility of the ills that are in our community?
Wow.
How can we
Mhm,
bring light to drug
mhm,
use, to
mhm,
domestic violence, to,
mhm,
to to violence, to any of that, to
mhm.
gangs. When are
Yes.
we going to stand up against gangs? When
Mhm.
are we going to constantly allow them to run our streets? We want to know what you think. And while you are telling us what you think, make sure you're sharing this and liking this
Yes.
and going on Facebook and
Share,
subscribing and doing
Yes.
share,
whatever you
share.
got to do, because we are going to be here waiting for you when you're done. But make sure you comment and let us know how you feel. All right.
Hey, this is Pastor Dante again, and listen, you need to make sure you are subscribing to New Kingdom TV because our new season is here beginning Monday, May 17th, but Tuesday night is the night you want to make sure you're watching. Tuesday night beginning this Tuesday, May 18th, we got our new show, Neil Nation. Tuesday Talk Together starts right here on New Kingdom TV at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays with Pastor Marcus and co-pastor Lisa. Man, we got this show is going to be off the hook. You're going to be talking about it all week long. Make sure you watch it. It begins this Tuesday, May 18th, here on New Kingdom TV. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook where you can watch New Kingdom TV, where we say you can watch your dreams come to life.
So we're here tonight, and our discussion tonight is about Black violence, Black men killing Black men. It's about us knowing whether or not Black lives matter, and are we enforcing Black lives matter? How are we controlling the narrative?
Yep.
Basically, what are we doing to increase awareness of the fact that we matter, and how are we determining that? And even in our communities, before we left, we were talking about it's our responsibility in the community to make sure that we are bringing out the ills, that
Mhm.
we are addressing and taking responsibility for the things going on in our areas when it comes to drugs, when it comes to gangs, when it comes to domestic violence. I'm glad that they brought that up because personally, I feel like domestic violence is usually, number one on the list for
Mhm.
turning the other cheek. I'm not paying attention. That's none of my business. Where does none of my
Mm-hmm.
become a serious problem in the community?
Yeah.
Uh, when is
Yeah.
that's not my kid, or
Mhm.
what happened to the village?
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yes,
definitely,
that
I,
word.
I
Ooh,
definitely am the type
come
of
on.
mom who will not want to tell another mother how to raise their kid. That's
Okay.
not my goal.
Mhm.
But I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely not going to let you fend for your own if I see your kid out here and I expect the same from someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
But nowadays I don't feel like we are so open to other people talking to us about our kids, and
That's
that's
true.
and that's that's
Mm.
where some of the issues actually start. Like Armani said, start younger and create that pride, create
Yeah.
that behavior set the standard at a child's
Yeah.
age.
Mhm. Let me
Um,
tell you, I believe
Definitely.
I definitely agree with the village piece because one of the services that I offer is helping mentor younger men, and I'm telling you, there are a lot of young kids who have no respect for parents, no respect for anyone in authority at all,
right,
and that is leading to a lot of this violence because at some point someone is going to have to tell that child what to do, and that child is going to have to listen. And if
Yeah.
that does not happen, if they're not listening to that level of authority, you can believe they're not going to listen to anyone else, which is going to
right.
lead them to be able to do what they want to
Yeah.
do. We have, am I the only one that's going to not comment on the fact that Rashawn is commenting and not on the show? Am I the only one that's not going to comment on the fact that I'm working and he's not?
Wow.
I'm
So
just
I don't
you
wondering.
even.
I'm wondering, am I the only one that's going to say that?
what's
We'll
up,
leave that. We'll
Rashawn
table that
though?
for later. You know, he got. He's
Rashawn
taking.
did say something.
Yes.
Rashawn Rashawn is
hilarious.
commenting. You know, he can't help himself. You know,
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
look,
So
if you look down there, it's gonna be a book.
yeah, it's gonna be a
I
book
see
there
that
soon.
comment down there.
But yeah, the village
That
left
comment down there.
when drugs, money became so easy to get. The village is more concerned with money. That's good. That's Rick Tyler. That's a good comment right there.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
See,
And
that's good.
and
That's good. Yeah.
it's very sad and it's very
Mhm.
true. And
Mhm.
that goes all the way up to the top.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
they
Talk
can
about
buy they can buy out
Yeah.
anybody.
Yep. Yes. It.
And you know, we were talking about Baltimore City
Mm.
last week, and I kind of get sore about that. The
Mhm.
reason I get sore about that is because I know how much the Baltimore City Police play into
Mhm.
the gang violence, how much they play into
Yeah.
the
Mm.
drug use. Like,
Mm.
and so, you know, at the same time, we say, oh, Baltimore City,
Mhm.
the police department ain't helping them because they too busy, you know,
Mhm. Yep.
benefiting from the chaos.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, the community gets paid to be quiet. The
Mm.
community,
Yeah.
you know, I'm pretty sure in
Yeah.
many ways.
Somebody just
Yeah.
said, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Amanda.
But there are people who
Yes.
still have a village. Liz says she still has a village.
Oh, it says somebody just.
You said what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have a village. I wouldn't
It's
be
going
anywhere
in and
without
out.
my
I'm
village.
sorry.
Yeah, Armani, I'm trying to stick with you, but I'm like, what? I don't know what she's saying. But no, I definitely have a village, Liz.
No, it keeps
I
going
couldn't.
in and out.
I would never imagine raising neither one of my kids without my village. And y'all seen my kids in action. They got a lot of village needed. Okay. So yeah, I villages are necessary. And Pastor Dante was talking about young boys,
Mhm.
and I could have never pegged. I have brothers, but till I had a son, did I
Mhm.
realize that there are so many things that even if I tried, and I'm not saying anything about single mothers. You guys are awesome. I'm here with you. We are here.
Mhm.
But I feel in my gut, if I didn't have my father around,
Mhm.
if he didn't have his father around, if he
Mhm.
didn't have other men in his life, I wouldn't know what to do.
Mhm. That's
I'm be honest, I wouldn't know what to do.
Samir, that's huge. So look at the whole. We talked about it again, and I'm hoping somebody comment on this. Look at the whole systematic racism. What you just shared. You have a father, a grandfather that's still available. I think your grandfather just celebrated 99 years, right?
99.
99 years old. I
Shout out
remember
to
saying
Uncle
that.
Pick.
That's major. That's major.
Shout out.
Out of so, but
Wow.
listen, that whole a lot of inner city kids, all of that is removed. Think
Right.
about that. That's what we call systematic racism, where we literally allowed the system to remove those fathers, remove the grandfathers, in which they decided to do whatever they decided to do, which didn't, where the system didn't provide the means in order for them to want to stay. Remember, a lot of welfare, a lot of social services programs, especially in the 80s and the 90s, would penalize you for being married. So it would be easier for you to receive money if you weren't married. It's part of the systematic racism.
It's
It
still
literally
like
had
that.
plagued our community.
It's still set up like that because you guys know that I help people with their retirement every single day. Don't be married. I can help a single person get anything they want.
Wow.
It's still set up like that.
Wow.
If
Right.
if you're married and you can't even get on the same Medicare as your husband because Medicare is individualized.
Right.
But because you married to your husband, you might still not be able to get the thing that you need.
Right.
Oh yeah, they penalize families. They don't want families, and that goes across the board. They don't want families. That's why they pressing certain agendas.
Mhm.
And I'm not even going to go into that.
Yes.
Pressing certain agendas, trying to change education to discourage the traditional or normal or whatever you want to call it, or whatever kind of family that we usually set in place. That kind of family is supposed to be thrown into the wind, and we don't need that. We don't need a man and a woman in the household anymore.
Right. And that look at LaShawn just said, I lost many perks, especially when the IRS, when I got me, they literally is penalizing you for creating a family. And
because
so
the family is the backbone of the village.
That's it. So if the family is not there, there will be no village. I mean, you'll have certain pieces of the village. You'll have certain pieces of the village that can, but they can't hold up but so much. Look, we got Pastor Offer also saying when mothers and fathers started telling the village they can't correct their kids, we lost our own internal policing mechanism. That's good. When children
Correct.
cuss teachers out,
Yeah,
that
that's
signals
good.
a huge problem. It's
Right.
huge.
And
You know,
that's
Well,
why
they can't even.
I
Yeah, they can't do
completely
that.
get the policing of communities, community policing. But if we can't even let people police the families that we know, and it's crazy because correcting a child doesn't have to be the end of the world.
that's right.
But that's how people make it. You know, and it's sad to me when I was a kid, when you played a sport, you either win or you lose. I don't have a problem with that. You know why I don't
Right.
have a problem with that? Because every single day you walk out the house, you either win or you lose. It's really not a middle point. It's really not. You either have an awesome day or adulting sucks today. But you're teaching kids that everything that they want, they can have. That is a lie. If you want something, you gotta work your behind off and
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And you better hope that you're the number one, but you might not be. It's just what it is. But when we were younger, you know, competition was good. Now there's no such thing as competition because we don't want any child to feel like they had to do anything more to be better than they were yesterday. And that's how I feel about it.
Listen
Hate
to
me.
this.
I hate me,
Listen,
but that's just how I feel.
listen look at this. Look, picture this. When you're a child in the inner city and I can go a few blocks and you really don't see any business. The only business you see is your corner store that's not owned by somebody that look like you.
No.
So you're in this village, and I mean we got some people that live in Emerson Village. You're in this village, you got this long stretch of these houses, you got all this stuff going on, but you don't see no businesses. You don't see nothing thriving. You don't have a positive outlook on life. The only thing that you see as positive is somebody that may be slinging or doing something else. That's the only positive thing that you may see. And that's, listen to me, that's your reference point. That's your reference point on how you live your life. So my life is to be not to live to wake up to go to work every day because I don't see that. How can I make that a reference point for my life when I never see that? All I see is people hanging out on the street and no business, no offices, nothing. All the offices are downtown. That's the one thing. If you go in DC, I'm a DC lover. I love Baltimore, but I love DC. You go in DC, you see businesses in all the areas now, even the areas that we used to call slums, southeast, northeast. You got businesses, thriving businesses in the community. That's the struggle. That's what hurts. That's what's hurting Baltimore. That's the issue why we asking why we have this violence. It's because we don't see any economic thrive. We don't see the work ethic. And if I don't see it, how can I mimic it? How can I create a reference point for my life and a goal set? Okay, I want to be like this person. I want to do what this person is doing because it's not there.
Right. And that goes even further into how their education is set up.
Yeah.
Even the education don't help folks.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
Because at my school, you know, I went to Old Mill High School. Old Mill High
we
School.
have to rebuild and start creating like.
Right. Because you know, with Old Mill High School and Glen Burnie High School is a magnet school. A lot of people don't know that they do have a magnet program at this school. So at those schools, what they do is you didn't have a choice. You were going to college.
Yep.
So this is what it is. This is Old Mill High School. If you're not going to college, you can't go here. But so they mimic how college would be. What's necessary to go into college? What is you need? Now I would say that that's kind of counterproductive because college is not for everyone. Trade schools do just as well as anybody else. In fact, I know people who went to trade school and they making way more money than me. So when you go into their education systems, they're not set up to teach them the things that they need to know either. So not only don't they see it in their neighborhood, but they're not even getting it at the school half the time.
That's right. That's right. That's huge. And I agree with you, Amani. I mean, to me, that is that's really been a big part of the problem in these areas. And we got some people saying, shout out to Chocolate City. Yes, I was born in Baltimore as well. I love my city. I love it, but I'm not naive and I'm not blind either. It is something that we have to fix, and it's economically where it's going to be fixed. So in order for us to really, the question I think we had on the table, right? Do Black lives really matter? Of course they do. Of course they matter.
They matter beyond measure.
Yeah, of course they matter. And I want to make sure that people know that they matter. And I want to make sure that people understand why they matter because of what we're able to present. Part of my goal, I think someone else just put a comment, Liz put up, what happened to vocational high schools? They're there, but they're just not promoted as much. You know, they're not promoted as much as other schooling. But there are some really good trades, like you just said, Samir, that really could help persons who may not be that college bound. And we can't, another thing is we can't shame people because they don't go to college, you know, or because they're not college material. Because
college is not necessary for every field of work.
That's right.
We need to stop trying to put everything in a box. In period, everything goes in a box. A cookie cutter. Mm-hmm. This is the only way you can do it.
Right.
That's not the truth.
That's right.
Because when you go out here, you know, we know some people are having some Wi-Fi trouble today.
Yes.
The person working on their Wi-Fi probably didn't go to college. Probably went to trade school.
You're absolutely right.
You know,
you're absolutely right.
Every time I get my car fixed, that person probably didn't go to college. They went to trade school.
You're absolutely right.
So it's not necessary for you to look at one track situations, but that's what we do, and especially I feel like the Black person is assumed that we can only go one track. Mm-hmm. But so we're not even going to show them the college track because they can't even do nothing. That's a lie. Mm-hmm. That's a lie, and that's why we have to change the narrative. And I love I wish Armani was over there talking to me because I love all the ideas Armani has when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Wi-Fi. I don't know my laptop. Like it's like speed or something. And
I am a product of Cat North. Cosmetology. I'm done with you. But yeah,
we can't hear you, Amani. I mean, Amani, we can't really hear you, but we know what you're saying. We definitely understand what you're saying.
And this, trade schools, they need to make more trade schools. They need to set up more. And in fact, it's so funny that they have trade schools. England and Anne Arundel County, they have the two, one Cat North and Cat South. But when you go to them, they kind of penalize you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The people don't know that. Wow. But when I was in high school, and I was just talking about this earlier today. When I was in high school, I was taking college classes. So before I was taking the college classes, I was in the IB program. And because I wanted to be in the IB program, they weren't going to let me be in a trade school. And they told me if I was in a trade school, they would kick me out the IB program. Wow. So I only can do one of the two. If I was able to manage them all, why not? That's how I looked at it, you know. And then I got out of IB, but I still took all my college courses, and I graduated with my cosmetology license. So I graduated from high school with a cosmetology license and went into college to study psychology, regardless of what they said. But that's not the thing that they set up. They don't allow people to do that. Everything has to, like I said, be one track minded.
So I want to find out, I don't know if we want to do this with the audience. I mean, with our audience tonight, can each one of our persons that are on tonight, can you give us what you think we should do or what our communities to do? What is your best advice for our communities now to help stem the violence within our communities? I need everybody that's watching. This is your command tonight. This is your time to share what your thought is as we get ready to close out. What do you believe we should do? What is the remedy to help stop the violence within our cities, to really let the world know that Black lives do matter? I need everybody. I know Pastor Jay is on. I know Liz is on. I know Rick Tyler is on. I believe there's a few others that are on. Everybody just give us your comments so we can close out on. I know LaShawn is on. Just maybe one or two sentences, and then we want to read them and we want to share that, and then we'll be able to close out tonight. Right.
So while they're getting their comments up in here, I just want to say I feel like the greatest issue is indifference.
Okay.
And indifference is the exact opposite of love. So a lot of people think that hate is the opposite of love, but no, indifference is the opposite of love. And when we don't have love for one another. We constantly just, I don't really care for one another. That's literally what you're saying. I don't care. I don't care about the person next door. I don't care about the person down the street. You know, if it's not happening to me, then it's really not happening. But that's a lie.
Right.
You know, if COVID didn't teach anything, it should have taught you that. Because you know, everything is intertwined. You can sit here and pretend like you're not affected by the person down the street. You know, this man is beating his wife, so I'm not saying it because it's not my business. But in all honesty, you have no idea how that can affect you.
Right. That's true. That's right. Indifference that's a very good point. I've never looked at it that way, but that is a solid point. How that really makes a huge difference in our community. I don't see anybody making any comments yet. I know they probably typing books. That's probably why they can't get the comment out. I just needed one or two sentences. I mean, just need one sentence. How can we change our community? Come on. I know we got some comments coming up. How do we change our community to be able to help them with this, deal with the violence that we're seeing that's plaguing our inner cities. Here we go. We got one. Pastor Offer, I told you he's writing a book. I told you, look,
communities need to take ownership and do everything they possibly can to do it to engage healing practices, financial literacy, entrepreneurship. Barbara, can you read? Youth mentorship, sports clubs, scouting, tutoring, parenting supports. I believe in all of that. So I'm for it. I'm all for it. We need all that. Entrepreneurship is something that people are not even familiar with, and Black, white, Cuban, or Asian don't matter. You know, when somebody decides, this was a great year for somebody to open a business.
Yes, it is. Good. That's a very good point.
So if you haven't thought about it yet, it's a great year for you to open a business. I don't care what kind of business.
That's it.
Think about it. Think about what is needed.
Go ahead, Amani.
I was going to say that currently, I'm going to just plug this in real quick before it cuts me off because my internet's, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, speaking of Village, I do have a youth mentorship program called The Village, and it stands for Vital Intervention in order to bring life in our future leaders through acceptance and understanding our gift, instilling X. And it's like an acronym. And basically with that, it's just educating and empowering, uplifting our leaders. And I think anybody who's watching it, definitely contact me because I'm looking for people to instill values into our youth. Supposedly, it's what I'm trying to do is trying to be able to young people because raised in an environment where they know what a village is.
Right. I love it. I love it. We will definitely hope someone did. Please contact Omani if you know, and we'll put up her information for that. That's great. And we got a Trey sighting. He's commenting. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Listen, y'all. Can we put Liz's comment back up so we can comment on hers? There we go. We need community leaders to come together and walk in the shoes of the inner cities on a regular basis. We need our mentors to invest in our communities, not just for a day or a month. We need to show our future generation. That's good that we are strong together. That's really good. Absolutely. I like that. I like that. We got these themes going on. I think LaShawn had one as well. Give the youth adult skills to obtain a job, career, start a business. Let's be leaders for our community. So it's all talking about ownership. And I think Trey had a really good one as well that's going to come up. I think what's missing in the Black community is unity and a common understanding. There's too much division among us, and that starts in our minds. Great comment. So there is a Trey sighting. He is alive. He is alive. Good job. Thank you, Trey, for commenting on it. This was a great discussion. I'm so grateful that you guys allowed me in tonight. This was really good. We were missing something about hosts. I mean, some of our audience. I know why, because they had another meeting going on. Some of the folk that I normally have, our regular viewers, they had some meetings going on, but we had a great. They're gonna rewatch it. Please make sure you tell your friends, rewatch it, reach everyone that's watching now, share it to your timeline so your friends can watch it. I'm going to share it again. Looks like Miss Kels Ali made a comment as well. Can we put that up as well? LaShawn, we need an understanding that things/change takes time. Consistency is important. Right. Character building and self-love is necessary, actually essential. That's powerful. That is powerful. I love it.
Definitely.
I love it. We have some good comments, and Liz says it begins with the system. So I don't want to take over. I'm gonna let our host, Miss Samia, offer to close us out. But everybody, please make sure you share it on your timeline. We need everybody to share it so we can get our make sure that we have our voices heard. We want our voice heard. It's not just Fox 45. It's not just WBAL. It's not just WMAR and these local stations or stations in DC. It's these type of stations that really help get our voices and help change our narrative.
So he said it all. But we do want you guys to let us know what we want to talk about next Tuesday. We definitely are looking for some comments from you, letting us know what you want to hear from us. So definitely send out your comments. Let us know what you want the post to talk about next Tuesday at 7, because we value you guys. We really do. We want to give you guys a conversation that you want to hear. So definitely let us know. Talk to us. Look for us. Follow me, Armani, Dre, and Rashawn every single day. You can see what we're doing all the time. We love interaction. Don't worry. Follow the polls. Like, comment, share, just like he said, do all of that. And we will be back next Tuesday at 7.
Yes.
You guys, we love you so much. We'll see you next week.
God bless.
Good night.